Okay, but let's jump into it. So all we're going to do to start off with is just recap some very important terminology that we need to know in algebra. We often like to ask you these sorts of questions. So we often like to ask you, sometimes it might even be give a definition for a constant, a coefficient, whatever. But you will see in our first example the way we generally ask these sorts of questions. But let's first recap our terms or terminology. And the first one is terms. So remember, terms, I sort of think of it like these are the words that make up the mathematical sentence that we're working with. So the mathematical sentence is your expression. The words in that sentence are the terms. So these are the parts of your expression. So I'm going to write down an example expression, and we're going to use that to just understand all of these different terminologies here. So let's say, for example, I gave you an expression of negative 2x to the power 4 plus 5x squared minus 3. Okay, so this is going to be the expression we look at as we go through these definitions. If I now go and have a look at terms again, so terms are the parts of the expression that make up my expression. And very importantly, terms are separated by plus and minus signs. So every time you see a plus or minus sign, that is separating your terms for you. So if we go and have a look at this expression, there's a plus. That was a horrible color highlighted to have chosen. Let's try that again. Here's a plus. Here's a minus. Now we do have a minus in front of the 2 here, but because there's no term or there's no value in front of that, we don't really need to stress about it. What this is now essentially telling me is that I've got 3 terms in my expression. Here's my first term, separated by that plus. So here's my second term, separated by the minus from the third term. So in this expression over here, I have got 3 terms. And I know that because the plus and minus signs are separating the terms for me. So again, these are the parts that make up your expression. Sometimes, guys, we refer to expressions as polynomials. It depends how many terms we have, but I could call this a polynomial. That that suffix, polynomial, okay, I'm gonna start my sentence again. That suffix or that end bit of nomial refers to an expression. The prefix poly sort of gives us an indication of how many terms we have. So if we had a monomial, mono generally means 1. So this would be a 1-termed expression. A binomial, bi means 2. I don't know why it's fighting with me, but it's okay. Bi means 2, so binomial is a 2-termed expression. I'm just going to be lazy here. Trinomial, tri means 3. So trinomial is 3 terms. Anything more than 3 terms, so 4 or more terms, we call a polynomial. Poly means many, basically. So that nomial end bit of the word refers to an expression, and then we can add a prefix based on how many terms there are. Don't stress too much about this. We do start to use these words more and more as we go into grade 9, but I'm not going to ask you for a definition of one, but it is useful to know. Right, so those are terms. If we then go and have a look at our next definition that we need to be very mindful of and need to be aware of is a constant. So does someone want to raise their hand and tell me what a constant is? How do I identify a constant? Umva?
Ma'am?
Yeah?
A constant is a number with no variable.
Excellent, well done. So a constant, guys, is a number that contains no variable. Now, the reason it's then called a constant is basically for this reason. If a number has a variable next to it, it means that it can still be multiplied by whatever that variable is. If the number has no variable, it means that we can't change it. We can't times it by anything because there's no variable there. It remains the same. It remains constant. So constant is a number with no variable. And this is a type of term that we can work with in our expression. So one type of term that you can work with is a constant term. So if we go to our expression that we had there, if we go and have a look and see which term has no variable, it is this -3 at the end here. So in our example, -3 is the constant term, or is a constant. Let's say that rather. So whenever you see a number with no variable, that is your constant. It's not going to change. There's nothing I'm timesing it by to change its value. All right, so that's terms. Within terms, you can get constant terms or constants. If we now go and have a look at what a coefficient is. So firstly, we identify a coefficient as the number in front of your variable. All right, now it can be in front of any of the variables that you're working with. So in front of an x squared, a y cubed, an x whatever, but it is the number in front. What we then need to remember is that you are saying, or the operation between your coefficient and your variable is multiplication. So it's always coefficient times whatever the variable is. That is the operation we are working with. So if, for example, again, going back to the expression we had, I asked for the coefficient of, let's say, for example, the x squared term. I now go to my expression. I look at the number in front of x squared. It is +5. So the coefficient of x squared is +5, according to the example expression I gave. So you are always looking for the number in front of your variable. If I asked you for the coefficient, very annoying to write, of, let's say, the x to the power 4 term, we again go to our x to the power 4 term. We look at the number in front, that is -2. So always bear in mind that any number has a sign. If it's positive, we don't have to write the positive, so I just wrote 5. But if it is a negative coefficient, please remember to write it down. Right, so coefficient, the number in front of the variable, it is the value we are timesing the variable by. So, for example, in the first term, that is saying -2 times x to the power 4. Right, the last one we need to know about is degree. So degree refers to the highest or the biggest exponent of your variable. This becomes quite helpful when we start doing more complex equations. And what you'll start to see is the biggest exponent of an equation, so of an expression, generally tells us how many solutions there are to our equation. So if you had an equation with the biggest exponent of x squared, when you solve that equation, you will get 2 answers. If you had an equation where your biggest exponent was x cubed, you would have 3 answers. And so we keep going. So degree helps us when we're starting to find solutions for an equation. So here, if I now want to find the degree of my expression, again, what I'm looking for is the biggest exponent. I go to my expression, I see the biggest exponent of x is 4. And so in this example, my degree is 4. That is the largest exponent of x that I have. So if this was an equation, when I go and solve its solutions, I'm going to get 4 answers for x. And that is information that I can get by working with the degree of my expression. Excuse me. Right, so I'm going to stop here. Please take your screenshots. At this point, if anyone has any questions, now is the time to raise your hand. But otherwise, we're going to have a look at the type of question that we like to ask you this sort of stuff in in assessments and exams and tests and all of that. So any questions, you can raise your hand, otherwise take your screenshots.
Nice, Umfa, nice. Bungile, is that a question?
Sibongile, there should be a little pop-up to unmute yourself. There we go.
Ma'am, can I ask if the coefficient will always be divided by a times sign, like a multiplication sign?
Yes, it'll always be a multiplication with your variable. Yeah? Okay, I'm hoping that answers your question. But yes, a coefficient will always be, there will always be a multiplication sign in between that and the variable. Otherwise, if that doesn't answer your question, Sibongile, please put it in the chat. I don't know if you lost sound or what happened there. Sange?
Ma'am, I have two questions, ma'am.
Okay.
My first question is the degree always going to be the biggest exponent, ma'am?
Yes.
And with the terms, ma'am, will there always be a plus and a minus? Because in our exams, you had 2x, and then they just had a dot, and then they said 5x, and then they put another spot, like a full stop, and then they said -3. But in a...
So like this down here at the bottom.
Yes, ma'am, like that.
Okay, good. So those dots mean multiplication. And so because it's 2x times 5x times -3, that's actually just one term. Multiplication and or division don't count as separating terms.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Sure. Okay, sorry, Sangha, you can just ignore me. I'm asking you to unmute again. I'm just losing my mind. There was a question of, is there any case where there is a division? Yes, there definitely can be. It depends on the example that we give you. Okay, but remember, division doesn't separate terms, so it's not going to affect the number of terms that you have. Right, I'm hoping you've all got your screenshots. I have explained degrees, so it's the highest exponent of the variable. The biggest exponent here is 4, so that's the degree. The one day, how do you multiply the coefficient with a variable with an exponent? So basically, you have to follow bodmas. So if you had something like 2x squared, you would first have to deal with the exponent, so get x squared, and then you'd have 2. You're going to see an example like this just now when we use substitution. But yeah, if there is exponents involved, you need to apply bedmas or bodmas. All right, guys, so let's have a look at an example of how we like to ask these in an exam or an assessment type scenario. So this example says, consider the following expression, and you have been given this expression. I don't know why I chose a highlighter here. You have been given the expression -2x squared plus 3x cubed plus a third. Gosh, right, so that is my expression. That is what I'm working with for all of these questions. And so we're going to answer these questions now. I just want to add one.
Are we going to trust them to answer by themselves? I just want to see if they can.
Oh, we can? Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see how many of you actually
them.
listen to my definitions.
Yeah.
I want you to answer these 5 questions for me. So the first one is, how many terms does this expression have? Oh, technology has spied me tonight. Okay, I'm going to try this again. So question A, how many terms? Question B, the degree. Question C, the coefficient of x squared. Question D, what is the constant term? Try question E. I'm asking for the value of the expression if x is equal to 2. So on the chat, please make sure you answer with A, B, C, D, and E, so we know which term is which answer is which.
Let's go, my people. Let's go. Y'all have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. About 5 minutes. Or 5 minutes is even too much. Let's go. Let's go,
2 minutes.
guys.
You can do this.
Let's do this. Let's do this, guys. Let's do it. Yes, I see the B there. I see the D, the E, the C, the B. Let's go, guys. Remember that you're first writing it into your book, right? And then you can copy your answers and put them on the chart. Then when we do corrections, you can correct your work, okay? Either you get 100%, and after this, I'm gonna ask you, did you get 100%? Like, did you get all 5? Out of 5, how many did you get, okay? So Teacher Sam is gonna go through with us the corrections when she's back. You're gonna mark your work, and then you must put on the chart, how many did you get out of 5? Sange, I like what you did there. I just love the whole, pacing of A, B, C, D, E. That's nice. I get to see all your answers. Chipo also is doing the same. Nice, guys. Didintle, nice. Okay, so guys, I'm not confirming your answers. I'm only confirming the way you are putting your answers, okay? When Teacher Sam is back, you're definitely gonna tell us what the correct answers are. Okay, guys? They didn't say no problem. If you don't know E, no worries. No worries. Teacher Sam is here to rescue us. So most of us, Teacher Sam, have already answered. We've answered A until E. Some of them gave it a try. Some of them couldn't do anything. So we're just waiting for your corrections so we can decide who got 5 out of 5.
Okay, guys, sorry, I had to run to the loo. It's one of those things. Right, so yes, of this expression, thank you for the correction to my English. Unfortunately, it's not my strong suit at the best of times. Okay, guys, so let's see. How many terms does this expression have? Remember, the plus and the minus signs are going to separate them. We're not too stressed about this first one because there's nothing in front of it. So this expression has got 3 terms. If I then go to the degree,
Mark your work, guys.
expression.
Sorry, Teacher Sam.
What's wrong? Sorry.
No, I was just telling them to mark their work. We are correcting our work. Yes, we are busy correcting.
Okay, so if we now go to degree, remember degree is the biggest exponent of our variable. That would be 3. So the degree of this expression is 3. Now when we want the coefficient of x squared, so x squared is the specific term I'm looking for. That is the first term, so I'm looking for the number in front of it. That is -2. Please don't stress about E. I'm going to get there, just wait. So the coefficient of x squared is -2. And if you don't have that negative there, unfortunately, it is wrong. It is a -2 in front of our x squared. Question D asks, what is the constant term of this expression? So now we're looking for the one with no variable. That would be 1/3. There is no variable anywhere in that term. So my constant term is 1/3. Now E is where things get a bit interesting. So my expression, I'm just going to rewrite my expression, is -2 x squared. So we're looking to, let's try that again. Plus 3x cubed plus 1/3. I am not telling you or giving you a value for x. So what you'll see here is that I'm telling you x is equal to 2. So that means that every time you see an x, you have to replace it with the value 2. I'm giving you the value of x. Oh, thank you, 1/3. Thank you. So now when I go and replace my x, I have got -2. X has been replaced with 2, so times 2 squared, plus 3 times 2 cubed plus 1/3. Now what you have is all numbers. So that means you can go and find the value of the expression. Now sometimes we ask you to do this without a calculator, and so this is good practice of being able to do that without a calculator. And this is now what I was saying earlier, and someone had asked a question about what happens when there's exponents. This is now where we need to remember bodmas or bedmas, whatever you choose to go with. I prefer bedmas if I'm going to have to use it. They mean exactly the same thing. So bodmas, brackets of division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. Bedmas, brackets, exponents, division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. And that's why I prefer bedmas, because this E, so sorry, my cat's just decided to fall asleep on my lap and then choke me with the headphones. The E means exponents. And so that just reminds me that I need to deal with the exponents very early on in my simplification process. So back to my expression, I'm going to deal with those exponents because that's what I need to start with. So leave the coefficient -2. 2 squared is 4. And remember, a coefficient is multiplication. 3 times 2 cubed. And remember, guys, 2 cubed is 2 times 2 times 2. So that is 3 times 8 plus a third. -2 times +4 is -8 plus 3 times 8 is 24 plus a third. -8 plus 24 is 16. And now remember, if you're doing this without a calculator, you've got to find an LCD. So I'm just going to carry on up here. My LCD would be 3. So 16 times 3 is 48 over 3 plus 1 over 3. And so that is where we get that answer, 49 over 3. Personally, I will always leave my answer as a fraction, even if it is an improper fraction. I just prefer that. But otherwise, 16 1/3 is absolutely fine. I wouldn't change it to a decimal because then you need to start rounding off and that makes things inaccurate. Okay, so this last question, if I give you a value for your variable, you need to use substitution. Fatima, I'm not too sure where bedmas is coming from, but either bodmas or bedmas.
Bedmas, the I stands for the index, which it could be also the same thing as exponents. I saw it also online. I don't know why they using that, but yeah.
Okay, so Lwande, how many marks? So I'm trying to think. I've literally just marked a question like this. I think it was 3-ish marks, 3. So we would definitely give you a mark for substituting. We would then give you a mark probably for correctly simplifying the whole situation with the exponents. If we were feeling generous, a mark for your LCD, and then a mark for your final answer. But generally, these questions are 3 marks.
Ooh, guys, did you guys correct on your books? And then what about A and B and C? So 1 mark, right? Did you say?
Yeah. Didn't say I haven't left a third out. So yeah, a third's still there, stayed there. There's a third, there's a third, there's a third. It's all there.
As out of 8, what did you get? Can you please show Teacher Sam and I what did you get on the chart, please? Out of 8, what did you get? And some of you prepare, if you have questions, please prepare to ask some questions. Out of 8, how did you get? 7, 5, nice guys. Lwande 8, 6, 7 out of 8, 6, 8, 4 marks. Well done, guys. 5, okay, nice. There's no difference, Sange. Well, maybe Teacher Sam will explain it in a different way. It's just the I index, E exponents on the bodmas, O stands for off. So there isn't much of a difference. Nice, guys. Nice. I'm so proud of them, Teacher Sam. It looks like we won on this one. I'm happy.
All right, so guys, there is no such thing as bedmas. It is bodmas or bedmas. What I have written down, that is it. Those are your options. Bodmas, bedmas. I prefer bedmas because of the exponents. It just helps me remember. There is no such thing as bedmas. First thing. Second thing, where did I get the 8 from? You are referring to this 8 over here. That is from 2 cubed. I explained it. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. Next question. I feel like there's another one. How do you summarize the last fraction? I don't know what that means, if I'm being completely honest. So if you can try and help me there, but that's it. Vincent, I think I've answered your question. Please let me know if I haven't. I've answered how we got the 8. Go back to the other examples that you gave us. This was it. And guys, please, like, manners. I can see the questions. I am one person. I'm getting there. If you are rude, I promise you I will remove you. Right, if you want bedmas, yes, by all means go bedmas, that's fine. Bedmas is parentheses, so talking about brackets, that's fine. Once again, if you want to convert the fraction to a mixed fraction, absolutely fine. And once again, please don't shout, just ask very nicely what your question is. Otherwise, I'm just going to go away. Where did I get 48? 48 from the LCD. So 16 is 16 over 1. I had an LCD of 3. 16 times 3 is 48. Okay, so hopefully those of you who've just been shouting questions at me, you have now listened to my answer from the LCD. Right, take your screenshots. There it is.
Nice, my people. And another thing is that you can actually put it on the
Sorry, Yolanda. I was trying to
it's okay. Yeah, I saw. It's okay, guys. I was just saying that you can also just use a calculator. I know that maybe some of your school are not allowing you, but you can actually recheck your answer by using in the calculator to check, you know, that you got also 49 out of 3. So don't get disturbed with the steps in the middle. It's a good practice for you to do it in that way. But please, by all means, if you see that you're struggling and your school does let you do a calculator, use your calculator to get an answer, no problem.
So guys, on that, if you really are struggling, even if the question says no calculator and you really just don't know what on earth is going on, just use a calculator. At least then you can write an answer down and you're getting one of those 3 marks rather than losing all 3. And like Yolanda says, use your calculator to check yourself. Okay, to declare, I have no idea why your hand is up because I haven't said hands, but what is wrong? What's up? What is your question?
Sorry, ma'am. Ma'am, how did you get the 48? I still don't get it, ma'am. If you said 16 times 3, ma'am.
48.
Why did you?
Is coming from the LCD. This would be 16 over 1 plus 1 over 3. My LCD here is then 3. So what I need to do is I need to times that by 3 and that by 3. Now 16 times 3 is 48. So that would be 48 over 3 plus a third. So now that my denominators are the same, I can add these. So that gives me that 49 over 3 that we ended up with.
Oh, sorry, ma'am, for the inconvenience.
No, does that make sense now? I'm hoping that makes sense. So LCD, guys, I said it quite a few times. Hopefully now that I've explained it, we understand. I don't know what's happened here. Okay. Brain break. I think we all need one. Right, so what you're doing is you are guessing the sayings. Guys, remember, this is all recap. So if you're confused about anything, you need to go and watch the videos. So you're guessing the sayings here. Put your answers in the chat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see what we get.
Let's go, my people. Let's see who gets the first one quicker. Let's see.
I just need you to understand that the frustration is coming from the complete lack of listening to each other and the lack of listening to me. Like, you guys are so dedicated and you are here in the evenings trying to learn maths. And so when you just refuse to listen to each other or to me, it becomes frustrating. So please, let's try and do better. You guys have been amazing thus far. Let's just keep doing it.
I think we have a winner, teacher Sam, for 3.
Nice,
Number
Sange.
3, top secret. Guys, let's go, guys. Sange is winning. Sange, 1 point for you. Let's check the rest. Let's see. What do you guys think? Let's crack our heads. To all our newbies, our fresh meats, please remember that this is just an exercising day that we do while you're stretching and doing everything. Sange again wins. Breakfast number 1. Yes. Those of you who are saying turn on number 2, you are very, very close, but it's not turn. It's not quite turn. You need to be creative, huh? We can't give you everything. Be creative. Camero, I do see your breakfast. It's just that I know that Sange got it first. But well done to you too. You also got it. Well done. So we already have 1 and 3. No worries, camera. No worries. It's about fast, huh? It's a fast movement. When it comes to brain break, we go. Why am I so? No. Don't do that to yourself. Let's try. Keep trying. Nope, it's not left turn. It's not a pawn. It's not. No. Nope, my people. Nope, let's try. Let's give it another try, guys. Let's go before our time runs out. Let's go. We can do this. Sange, you are still the top notch. Once upon a time. Yes, no, Louis. Louis got once upon a time. Louis, once upon a time is for you. Let's see who gets number 2. So far, Sange is still winning. Let's go. Nope, not fortune. Not 10. No, not 10. Nope. Let's go. One more, my people. One more. We can do this. Come on, guys. I'm cheering for you. We can do this. Come on, let's do this. Nope, not turning. Guys, what's missing in that turn? What is it that is missing? And then you can make a sentence out of what's missing. I already gave you guys an answer.
Okay, Teto's closer.
You're so closer. Teto is burning, guys. Teto is burning. Let's go. Let's go, Teto. No, it's not your turn. Teto, you're on fire, Teto. You are getting closer, Teto. No right turn. No, not keep turning the dinkley. Nice try, guys. Oh, Teto, you need to make something about your sentence. Woo, someone saying missing a turn. Something like, it's getting there. You're getting like warmer. Hey, when you say down and you turn, yalla now just becoming lukewarm. You are not hot anymore.
This is no U-turn. There is no U in the turn.
Guys. Y'all did so well. I hope that you take a picture of that. Like this, you can play with your friends. You can make them guess. And family also with this load shedding. I promise you, you do need it. Just trust me. Take a screenshot.
So number 2, no U-turn.
Yeah, nice, guys. Let's go back to bed.
So guys, my internet's gone a bit dodgy, so I've just turned my camera off for now, but we'll see. Hopefully it gets better and then I can turn it on. Don't know why, but who knows. So guys, we've done the answer. It is no U-turn. There we go. There are your answers again, just in case you want to see. It was no U-turn. There was no U in the turn. Excuse me.
Yeah, that wasn't so simple, guys. But well done, my people.
Right. Okay, the joke was, what is the best tool for maths? Yeah, what is the best tool? What tool is best suited for maths? Multipliers. Alrighty, so let's have a look at example 2. It's just nice, easy simplification. To start off with, what we need to remember is our idea, or this very, very important concept of like terms. Okay, so guys, I'm not asking for an answer yet, so please just be patient. Like terms, remember, are terms that have the same variable and the same exponent. And this is going to become quite important in this section that we're going to do, because now we're going to start to incorporate exponents And we need to now bear that in mind when we are looking for like terms. Okay, now this is where I always say grab a highlighter, grab a colored pen, underline, highlight, do what you need to do to identify your like terms. Looking at our first expression, we've got a constant term of 24. We also have a constant term of -6 and a constant term of -5. So I'm able to start grouping my like terms. If I now go and have a look, I have a term of -12x and a like term of +7x. Now, guys, if you prefer to group your terms first before you add or subtract, that's fine. So if I group my x terms, -12x plus 7x, and then I group my constants plus 24. Remember, 24 does have a plus in front of it. We just don't write it. -6, -5. So all I've done here is I've grouped the like terms together. Personally, I don't do that, but I know some people do like to do that. And it's absolutely fine if you'd like to do that. As you gain more confidence with expressions and simplifying them, you won't need to. So now we add and subtract our like terms. Remember, if you think about a number line, if you're sitting at -12 and you are adding 7, you need to become more positive, or you need to get towards the positive end of your number line. So if we go, I'm not going to have enough space here, but if we start adding 7, we need to get to a more positive situation. And so we have -5x. 24 minus 6 is 18. 18 minus 5 is 13. So plus 13. If you wrote this in a different order, so if you wrote this as 13 minus 5x, that is absolutely fine as well. I generally always write my constant at the end. As you go on in maths, you'll generally start to do that. It also makes your life easier later on when we start to do more complex algebra. But if you wrote 13 minus 5x, that's fine. These guys also, 13 plus minus 5x, yes, it means the same thing, but that is not simplified. The question is asked you to simplify, so you need to sort out these signs. A positive and a negative is a negative. So please write it as 13 minus 5x. All right, so I want you to try question B for me based on what we've just spoken about. Put your answer in the chat, and then we'll have a look once we've gotten some answers through. Excuse me. Remember, guys, use a highlighter, use a colored pen, do what you need to do in order to simplify correctly.
We can do this, guys. Now is our time to shine. Teto, now you can start shining, okay? So I'm glad you even got that answer correct. So now you know that that's how we do it, but you must first wait until it gets there, because you see, now you have your answer. So guys, let's try number B by ourselves. When you're done, you can put it on the chat so we can see more or less how is everybody doing, and teach us some more correctors. And we are all going to happy and rejoice, and time is flying.
Guys, remember to put it on the chat. It allows us to see if you're getting it, if you're not getting it. It also helps other students. By you putting an answer on the chat, it helps other students to see, okay, I didn't get that. Maybe I need to double check my answers. Okay, I did get that. Maybe we're on the right track. So you adding answers help each other.
It really does, guys. But just don't panic, because your peers' answers doesn't mean that it's correct and your one is wrong. Okay.
Identify those like terms for yourself. Remember, use a highlighter if you need to, or a colored pen, or even just a pencil, and you underline in different lines, whatever you need to do.
Yeah, on it. There are all nets. I'm so happy.
Well done, grade 8s. Okay, guys, remember there are multiple terms to this, so you should have plus and minus signs still going. So like I had an A, I still had the plus 13 to show that I had two groups of terms. So you should have signs going on there as well, please. Alrighty, so if we identify our like terms for ourselves, I've got a B term, so 12B minus 1B, so those are like terms that I've grouped together. I also have A terms, so minus 3A minus 2A, and then I also have my constant terms. So looking at my constant terms, I've got the minus 6 and the minus 2. Again, if you want to group them together, that is absolutely fine. You don't have to. So I'm going to group them together just for those of you that need it. I'm going to start with the A terms. Remember, like I said, we generally try to put the constants right at the end. And if I have multiple different variables, I try go in alphabetical order. Again, if you've written it in a different order, it's fine. We'll chat about it in a second. But you've got minus 3A minus 2A. So those are your A terms. Then you've got plus, remember that's a positive, 12B minus B. If you need to write 1B to remind yourself that it is a 1, that's fine. Minus 6 minus 2. So if we sort out those A terms, minus 3A minus 2A is minus 5A. 12B minus 1B is positive 11B. And then minus 6 minus 2 is minus 8. Okay, so those of you writing -4, please just double check. Both 6 and 2 are negative, so you should be getting a negative 8. If you wrote this in the order 11B minus 5A minus 8, it's absolutely fine. It means exactly the same thing. The 11's B is still positive, the 5A is still negative, and the 8 is negative. So as long as your signs are correct, if the order is a bit different, it's not the end of the world. Okay, so those of you that say -4 at the end, please double check why you have said that. Have you just copied it down incorrectly? Did you make a silly mistake? But it should be -8 at the end. Right, and again, guys, so like Teto said there, we have done this. And so go and find those videos if you aren't feeling super comfortable with this. We also did algebra quite a while ago, and so it might not be fresh in your head, which is fine, but go over it and make sure you're understanding. So I want you guys to try C for me. Again, put your answer in the chat. Let's see what you get. And this time I'll take some hands, but please only raise your hand when I say so.
So no worries, no worries. You can definitely go
Guys,
back.
you need to be checking as I do the answers where you're going wrong, if you are going wrong.
Oh yes, please. And yeah, do mark your work, but well done, guys.
Okay, so put some answers in the chat there for us for question C. Good, guys, keep it coming. Good, grade 8s. Would anyone like to raise their hand to explain this answer for us? Zimi?
Evening, ma'am.
Evening.
So should I just start explaining?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so I first started by separating my terms. The minus after the 10x, the plus sign after the 2x, and also the minus after the 7y.
Good.
And then I found my like terms, and then I highlighted negative 10x and negative 2x.
Good. So I'm just going to use lines here. Yeah.
Okay, so negative 10x minus 2x, I got negative 12x.
Good.
And then I brought the plus 7y minus 6 since they aren't like terms.
Excellent. Well done. So guys, very important there what Zimia said there at the end. The negative 7y and the minus 6, those are separate terms. They are not like terms to the x terms. And so just because they don't have any partners or any like terms to themselves doesn't mean we ignore them. We just write them exactly as they are. They're still part of the expression. They just haven't changed because they don't have like terms that we can add to them. Well done, Zimi. Okay, guys, what I also want you to notice that Zimi did here is the answer is in alphabetical order with a constant at the end. So the x term is first, then the y term, then the minus 6. It's not like a must that you have to write it like this, but it is, I promise you, it's going to help you later on in maths. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that a touch smaller so you can screenshot all of them. Whilst you guys are taking screenshots, if anyone has any questions they'd like to ask, now's the time to raise your hand. Dintley?
Ma'am, at B, ma'am.
Yeah.
Are they both like two of the same answers, but like you can choose which one you wanna use?
This one at the end here.
Like both of them.
Yeah,
You
they're
made
both.
like a dash.
Yes, sorry. So what I was trying to say there is that both are correct. So a lot of you would have started with the B term because that was the first one given in the expression. So if you wrote your answer as 11b minus 5a minus 8, that's absolutely fine. All I've done here is I've put it in alphabetical order. So the A term first, the A term first, then the B term, and then the constant is at the end. But they're the same thing.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Thank you.
So, no problem. So guys, yeah, like I say, if you make an attempt to put it in alphabetical order, I promise your life does become easier later on. But at this point, it's not a huge issue if you aren't. Male Bokhosana, I feel like I've butchered your name. Please correct me.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi.
So ma'am, I would like to ask 2 questions. So,
okay.
ma'am, for the first one is about the Maths 24. So, ma'am, for the Maths 24, do you have to use a specific method or any type of method is allowed?
Oh, you broke up there. Can you try that again for me? Do you have to use?
Do you have to use a specific method or any type of method is allowed?
Any method is allowed as long as your like maths is correct. So you can't say like 7 times 7 is 14. Your maths has to be correct, and you can only use the numbers once.
Okay, ma'am, thank you. And ma'am, for the second one is for the like terms, ma'am, the answer, does the answer stay like this or do you still have to simplify it?
So the answer stays as we've left them. In the answer, so if you look at, say, for example, the first one, this answer is minus 5x plus 13. Those are not like terms, which means you can't add or subtract them. And so you can't do anything more so that our answers stay as they are.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
2 questions. Is that it? Okay, cool. I thought there was 3. Vincent, is it Vincent?
Yes, ma'am. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I wanted to ask you a question about B.
Sorry, about?
About B, number B.
Okay, yeah.
In a test, if you write both with the slashes, if you write both of the methods down, will that be fine?
It is fine. I would just be careful though, because especially as you start to go higher up in maths, generally what they do is they only mark your first answer. So if you then put put another option. They'll mark your first one. So make sure that you are writing it down correctly. So if you made a silly mistake in the first one, but you wrote the second one down correctly, they might not mark the second one. So just double check. I would pick one personally and just stick with one, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, I hope that helped. Was ist Sana?
Ma'am, can I ask, is it necessary to simplify the sum?
Sorry, can you say that again? Can you?
Is it necessary to simplify the sum?
Yes, because the instruction told us to simplify, so we have to fully simplify.
Okay.
Okay, and guys, that's a good point. Sometimes we just go into a question and we don't actually know what we're answering. Read your questions carefully. This told us to simplify, we have to simplify. Right, grade 8, you'll see that the poll is up. Please make sure you've answered it. There's only 90% of you who have answered it thus far. That needs to be 100%, so we're not going anywhere until you've answered the poll. Dintley, yes, this is algebra. I hope you're still here. This is algebra, yes. Anytime we're dealing with variables, most of the time we're dealing with algebra. Show me, we've done HCF and LCM right at the start of the year, so go and find those videos. And that looks like all the questions that we had there.